At first, nobody thought much about Ethan Cole. He was quiet, awkward, forgettable even. But behind a locked bedroom door, a growing obsession took hold. One that would eventually leave 3 people dead, and an entire town asking the same question. How did nobody see this coming? A single family portrait, date stamped spring 2024, sits on the mantel in the Cole living room. Ethan stands between his parents, shoulders slightly hunched, hands folded in front. His eyes avoid the camera. In the background, sunlight filters through the kitchen window, catching the butt in the air. The house itself is ordinary. White siding, a patchy lawn, a mailbox with faded numbers. Cars pass by every few minutes, their engines muffled by the hedges lining the street. Neighbors recall the steady rhythm of Ethan's routine. He'd walk to the corner store for milk every Sunday morning, never caused trouble, always nodded, but never said much, remembers Mrs. Hargrove from next door. Her words recorded in transcript A17. Inside the Cole home, evenings followed a quiet script. Dinner at 6. Plates stacked in the sink. Ethan's bedroom door closed by 7. The hallway carried the faint sound of a video game or a television show. But conversation rarely drifted upstairs. His parents described him as shy, maybe a little withdrawn, but polite. The kind of boy who kept his shoes lined up in pairs, who never missed curfew, who always remembered to feed the dog. The neighborhood itself offered little to set anyone on edge. Lawns trimmed short, porch lights on timers, the kind of place where nothing ever seemed urgent. Ethan blended into this setting. Another teenager behind drawn curtains, another quiet presence on a quiet street. No one suspected anything unusual. No one looked for cracks beneath the surface. In spring 2024, the world outside Ethan's window remained calm, even as something else took shape behind his closed door. The first official record of trouble appears in the school's conduct database. A referral dated September 2015, Ethan's name typed in block letters, incident code 4B, bullying. Over the next 3 years, the file grows. 4 suspension notices, each attached to a brief, impersonal summary. Verbal harassment. Repeated, signed by different administrators. No parent signatures. No follow-up. In the margins, a counselor's note in blue ink says, "Student withdrawn, avoids eye contact. Minimal response to questions." The counseling file closes after just 2 sessions. The last entry, a printed form, reads, "No further action required." While classmates moved in packs, Ethan drifted alone between classes. Teachers logged missing homework, but never flagged his growing silence. The bullying reports mentioned slurs, a locker vandalized, a lunch tray knocked to the floor. Each time, the paperwork cycles back to the same outcome. Short-term suspension, then return to routine. No one documents a single apology or reconciliation. The system moves on. By age 17, something shifts. School wireless network logs show Ethan's Chromebook connecting late at night, accessing forums that filter beneath the firewall. A keyword scan flags his account for a sudden spike. Terms like revenge, erase, no escape. But the automated alert is never escalated. Discord. A PI records place his handle in servers known for violent roleplay and extremist memes. The usernames changing as quickly as the topics. The digital trail grows dense, but remains invisible to the adults in his life. Institutional forms, checkboxes, and digital logs accumulate in folders, each hinting at a deeper problem. Yet every warning is filed away, closed, or left unread. Ethan's isolation becomes a matter of record, but never a matter of intervention. No one sees the pattern until it's far too late. June 3, 2025. The municipal skate park, usually a backdrop for harmless noise and scraped knees, records something different at 6:12 in the evening. A grainy CCTV frame freezes Ethan's outline at the edge of the concrete bowl. His hands are balled into fists. 3 other teenagers cluster near the rail, voices raised. The audio lost to distance. The police incident log, SP236, registers the event as a disturbance, nothing more. But the footage tells a sharper story. Eyewitness statements, cataloged as W3 through W5, describe Ethan stepping forward without warning. One recalls the sound of a board clattering to the ground. Another recalls the flash of a fist connecting with a jaw. The third remembers the sudden hush as bystanders realized this was not a scuffle between friends. Ethan's face, usually blank, twists with something raw, maybe anger or something colder. The confrontation lasts less than a minute. No weapons, no blood, but the force is unmistakable. A shove, a punch, bodies hitting pavement. The others scatter. Ethan stands over the fallen boy, breathing hard before turning away. His figure disappears from the camera's view as the sun drops behind the chain-link fence. Police arrive minutes later, sirens cutting through the evening air. By then, Ethan is gone. The officers collect statements, log the time, and file the report. No arrests follow. No follow-up. The incident slips into the system as just another flare-up between teenagers. But for those who saw it, the memory lingers. Ethan's sudden violence, the shock in his eyes, the silence that followed. It is the first time anyone in town sees what he is capable of when the mask slips. A silent record of Ethan's movements unfolds in the raw data. At 5:02 p.m. his phone leaves the home Wi-Fi and pings a nearby tower, the GPS log placing him on Route 5. By 6:15 p.m. a traffic cam on the highway captures his license plate, 2 blocks from the victim's street. The timestamp matches the scan with no margin for error. Ethan later claims he was at a friend's house, but the digital trail never deviates. At 7:45 p.m. the Ring doorbell at the victim's house triggers, recording a brief motion alert. The video lasts only 15 seconds. First the door cracks open. Then a sharp crash echoes from inside. The timestamp is clear. Ethan denies ever entering the home, but the timeline has no gaps. At 8:03 p.m. the forensic team logs their first blood spatter sample. The lab report, filed under case number BX447, lists the recovered shell casings. Each is a match to a firearm registered to Ethan. Serial number BX447 etched along the barrel. The same number found in the police evidence locker. Later, at 12:31 a.m. Ethan's phone places an outgoing call. 2 minutes, 23 seconds. The recipient remains unidentified, but phone records fix his device within a 1-mile radius of the crime scene. At 2:12 a.m., a municipal CCTV camera captures a lone figure moving through the alley behind the victim's house. The silhouette and gait analysis match Ethan's profile. He claims he never left his car. The evidence disagrees. Every fragment, GPS logs, traffic cam images, Ring video, ballistics, layers into a single, unbroken chain. The digital and physical records erase any doubt. The crime was not an accident, not a sudden outburst. Each step was planned, each action mapped and executed with precision. The proof is cold, absolute, and leaves no room for denial. CyberTip CT998 arrived at the precinct's digital intake desk on a cold morning in November 2019. The submission was flagged for possible extremist language, and it named Ethan Cole and referenced his online posts, phrases about violence, and erasing the past. The intake form was brief, mostly checkboxes, and a few lines of typed concern. Within hours, the tip landed in the triage queue, one of dozens that week. 6 days later, a closure memo, signed by Sergeant M. Diaz, stated insufficient actionable intelligence. No corroborating details. No further action required. The file was closed. Ethan's name was never entered into any watch list. No notification went to state or federal partners. The only trace left behind was a digital signature and a line in the resource allocation log that read, "Case closed due to staffing constraints." The warning, clear in hindsight, was quietly buried in the system. Inside the interrogation room, Ethan sits with his arms folded, voice steady but flat. He insists he left the area before midnight and repeats the claim even as detectives push details from the digital timeline. The transcript captures his phrasing, short, clipped answers, each denial delivered without hesitation. Yet on his seized laptop, a decrypted chat log from just hours before the attack reads, "Dry run tonight, no mistakes." The timestamp, 23:03, lands squarely inside the window. Ethan says he was nowhere near the house. Forensic analysts trace his device's location, matching login records to the crime scene's Wi-Fi router. When confronted with the evidence, Ethan's expression barely changes. A psychologist reviewing the footage notes the absence of anxiety, the practiced calm. The digital proof is absolute, but Ethan's words never shift. His reality splits in two, one for the investigators, one sealed behind passwords and encrypted drives. The truth remains locked somewhere between the lines, unreachable. Every year, thousands of cyber tips vanish into bureaucratic silence, while isolation and obsession go unseen behind closed doors. The next warning sign rarely looks like a monster. It looks like someone we already ignore. In the shadows of ordinary life, danger waits for a moment of neglect. Share your thoughts below.